Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. For those of you tuning in for the first time, my name is Rachel, and in today's video is going to be about the time that I had a panic attack while I was at work. So if you guys are interested to hear about what happened and how I've learned to cope with my anxiety, keep watching. I just want to give you guys a little bit of a background. I've always dealt with anxiety on and off since I was little. I'm Mexican, so in our household, it wasn't something that too much attention was brought to. It was kind of like, oh, you're overreacting, or te estás haciendo, which means like you're kind of like faking it. But it got to a point, anxiety would get so bad, I would physically get sick. And it wasn't actually pointed out to me that that's what I was experiencing was a panic attack brought on by anxiety until somebody saw me having one, and they told me, you have to calm down because you're going to have a panic attack. And that hadn't happened to me in a few years. And in March, I believe it was March or April of this year, I was pregnant. When you're pregnant, you're just full of emotions. You're constantly on an emotional roller coaster. So, there's just a lot going on while you're pregnant. And now that I'm older, it's like all of those feelings and emotions and symptoms are heightened. So on one of these days that I was at work, I was on my lunch break, and my coworkers were, they were joking around, kind of like picking on me. And I love them. So guys, if you're watching this, no hard feelings, okay? But at the time, I was just like super sensitive, and I don't even remember what they said or what was done. And if they say something, I kind of just like brush it off. Like, I understand you guys are joking, it's cool, because that's how we all are. We all talk to each other like we're brothers and sisters, and we get on each other's nerves, so. But on this day, I was just a little bit more emotional and sensitive. I just felt myself feel like I was just going to cry. And there was so many people in the back. So I didn't say anything. The tears just started flowing. It's like, oh my gosh. So I got up, went to the bathroom. So I was trying not to be loud, but I just started crying and crying and crying. I was in there like 10 minutes. So I was trying to calm myself down, and it just wasn't working. So I was like, you know what? I felt like I had to do like the ugly cry. So I was like, I'm gonna go to my car, I'm gonna try to calm down. So luckily I wasn't wearing makeup that day. So I kind of just like washed my face with like some cold water. I went and got my keys. I just like looked down because I don't want anybody to see me, put my sunglasses on, and I went to my car. So, which was a bad idea, because so I was doing the ugly cry. I couldn't breathe. And then I started hyperventilating, and I text one of my really close friends. I was just like, girl, like, I really need you to pray for me right now, because I'm at work and I think I'm having a panic attack. Like, I can't keep myself from crying. I can't breathe. And she's like, girl, I got you. So she started praying over me, and she was just being super supportive. And I called my husband, and I couldn't even talk to him. Like, I couldn't even get the words out. And he's like, what's happening? What's wrong? And I was just like, my feelings are so hurt. I'm like, my coworkers hurt my feelings. And he's like, oh my gosh, babe. He's like, please calm down. And I just felt awful. I felt awful, because not even for myself, but for my baby. Because, I'm pregnant, and I'm like, she's probably feeling all these emotions that I'm feeling. And I didn't know if I was depriving her of oxygen because I couldn't breathe. So he's like, you need to calm down. You need to calm down. And I was like, I have to go back inside. It's like my lunch is almost over. And, I'm trying to calm myself down. So about 5 or 10 minutes go by and I'm finally like able to breathe. You know, I tried to regulate my breathing so that I can just stop crying. So you could just tell that I was upset and that I had been crying, but I was already like 5 or 10 minutes late. So I go back in, I go straight to the sales floor. I turn to one of my male coworkers, and he looks at me and he's asking me a question, and I'm kind of like, I don't want to like make eye contact. I'm just like, uh-huh. And he's like, are you okay? And I was like, mm-hmm. So this customer comes up to my register, and I was like, I have to go to the back. So, and I just start crying again. Okay, so actually, while this customer was coming up to me, and then my coworker's asking me a question, I start to feel dizzy, and I start to see like black spots, and I start to shake. Like, I felt like the room was spinning, and I was like, oh my gosh, like I'm going to black out. I go to the back and I'm crying, and I'm like kind of trying like not to fall because I feel like I'm losing my sight, and I'm kind of just like against the wall. And one of my coworkers comes by and she's like, what's going on? She's like, are you okay? And I was like, I couldn't even talk. I told her, can you please get so-and-so manager for me? Because I didn't want to go around the corner and have everybody that was in their break or just in the back see me that way, you know, because I was embarrassed, and I just didn't want them to ask a bunch of questions about what was going on. My manager comes over and she's like, oh my gosh, what's wrong? And I couldn't even talk. Like, I'm like choking. I'm like, and so she takes me back there and she's like, what's going on? And I was just like, I need to go home. Like, that's pretty much all I could get out. And she's like, but what's wrong? And I was just like, well, I was like, I'm dizzy. It's like, and I'm shaking, and I feel like I'm gonna pass out. And right away they just counted me out, and I kind of just felt like kind of more like a sigh of relief, because I was just like, oh my gosh, like people aren't gonna see me like this, you know, I can just go home and I guess try to get a hold of myself. So I left, I went to my car, and it just started again. I started crying. It was pretty bad. Like, I still felt dizzy. I still felt like I was going to like pass out. So I called my mom, and she actually had to come pick me up, so that, because I couldn't drive, like I literally couldn't drive. So she picked me up, you know, she tried to get me to eat something. She, you know, she prayed over me, and I just took the day to just kind of relax and to collect myself. And I was in prayer about it. I am a Christian, you know, I love the Lord, and whenever things like this occur, or, you know, just whenever we're dealing with anything, you know, the first thing we want to do is, you know, take it over to Christ and be in prayer about whatever situation you're in, you know, good or bad. So just because I'm a Christian, just because I love the Lord, doesn't mean that I don't deal with things like this, you know. It doesn't mean I don't have anxiety. It doesn't mean that I don't give into my emotions sometimes. I'm not perfect, and that is exactly why I need my faith and why I need Christ all the more. So that is how I cope with my anxiety, through prayer, through bringing that over to Christ. And it doesn't feel like I have the weight of the world on my shoulders. Like, I don't have to carry that. I still want people to talk to somebody about it and know that you're not alone. Because if it was just me trying to deal with this, like I did for so many years, I couldn't deal with it all. Like, I was always having like mental breakdowns. I was always crying, sad or depressed. And a lot of people think that because you're a Christian that, oh, well, why isn't your life perfect? And that's not the case. The thing is I still deal with all the problems that everybody else does. I just don't have to do it alone. Talk to your family, talk to your spouses, talk to your friends. talk to your doctors, because mental health is important, especially as a mother. You need to make sure that you are taking care of yourself, and you're taking every step to make sure that you are mentally and physically healthy to be able to be there for your kids. And you can't put your heart into everything if you're not all there. So I do want to put a link down in the description, and it's 15 verses that help you deal with anxiety. So I really do hope that if you guys are dealing with anxiety or with panic attacks, if whether you're a believer or not, that you just go and you check it out. Whether you're a mom or whether you're not a mom, if you're having a bad day and you're feeling anxious and you're not at rest, go to the link, check out these verses, do me a solid, okay? And so thank you guys, thank you for watching, thank you for listening. This was not an easy video for me to do, but I started this channel because I want moms that have felt the way that I do to know that they're not alone. Just be like, hey, like, we all go through these things. So thanks for watching, guys, and see you next time.